Delegate and alternate to the Arizona School Boards Association annual meeting.
Who is attending that?
So we have an ASBA liaison.
Very well.
We have an ASBA designated liaison, Mr. Ramos.
Oh,
Mayor, are you there?
Last year. Is that why you were looking at me?
I am scheduled to attend right now the legislative portion. I have not taken any time off work, scheduled any time off work to attend the whole thing. I usually do attend, but I just got back from vacation, so it may be a little bit more difficult for me to attend, to get the time to attend. But I could certainly try maybe as an alternate.
Let me look at the dates real quick. Because I have to take time off in January to go to DC with ASBA.
In January or February?
January.
So,
The week after the inauguration.
what are the dates? That's the 13th and 14th, correct?
And the delegate. Oh, well, you know what, I'm going to the luncheon. I can just try to go at least that Thursday.
Is that when the voting is?
Oh, no. Is it? Okay,
You can go.
I'll go that day then.
Great.
I can get that.
Did you say that Donna is scheduled to attend?
Yeah. Oh, she is? Okay.
So we could
The
add an alternate.
alternate.
So as soon as my mouse works, I will motion to
You were logged out.
I move the governing board designate Tiffany Arenas as the Creighton School District Governing Board voting delegate and/or Donna Young as alternate, and delegate its designee to represent the majority action of the board regarding such ASBA proposals which are in alignment with the district's vision, mission, and/or goals.
Second?
Okay, this motion has been seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Our legislative and political report.
Well, Proposition 204, which would have restored a lot of education funding cut by the state, would have created certain new areas within the funding formula, but I think it would have brought back and made clear that the 2% inflation adjustment that we were supposed to get under Prop 301, I think it was, passed in 2000, that was later deemed by the legislature to be reinterpreted by the legislature to only apply to transportation. So our, I think that's, I don't know if that's a revenue control or our base funding, basically, that used to be the lower of 2% or the rate of inflation, is now whatever the legislature feels it wants. It would have restored that 2%. And I know that I think I pointed out that had we had a 2% increase in our budget every single year, our funding from the state, as I think the voters intended for us to have all of these last years, and at least this last year we would not have actually had any sort of deficit or had to cut at all. So that has failed, getting only 35% of the vote. A lot of money came in at the last moment. I think both sides, nobody said that education funding was a bad thing. That was not the no side's campaign. It was that, oh, it's not going to go to the schools. And that certainly was not the position of the Arizona School Boards Association or the Arizona Education Association, who strongly supported it. And I know I had friends ask me, so it's a permanent tax increase, what will our sales tax rate be? So I don't think it was very heavily understood that it just continued basically our 1% sales tax that we approved a few years ago that was temporary goes away. This would have replaced it. So that, in terms of our legislature, it is not a Republican supermajority, but still a strong Republican majority. And the most notable thing was that the Senate Republicans changed their their president. Steve Pierce, who thought he had the votes to be, I think everyone thought had the votes to be president again, has been replaced by Andy Biggs, who is generally seen as less pragmatic and a little bit more ideological. I don't know that I would say he's more or less conservative, just very less pragmatic and more ideological. So I know he did say on Channel 3 this last weekend that they would try to find ways of restoring some funding, but he did say we're not going to restore everything all in 1 year, and that the state has a good budget situation this year, we don't over the next 2. So that restoring lots of funds was not something that was a high priority of his. And I think there are going to have to be a lot of discussions at a state level as the 1% sales tax that helped patch us through goes away, and new tax cuts that were passed in the last couple of years come into place. How they're going to find any sort of revenue after Arizona's cut more out of education than any other state in the country in the last 5 years, I don't see where they would find any revenue source to restore anything. So I think as a district that probably affects our ability to unfreeze salary schedules. We're not getting extra money, but every year our costs for health insurance go up. What we have to put into the Arizona State Retirement System goes up. I think that's going up another 0.3% this year. So that will have some impact that I know Scott Walmer will be talking to us about at some point.
Yeah, I think the implications for the board would be to re-examine values and make sure that we are prioritizing our highest values, considering very limited resources, especially with the new board being formed in January.
And potential federal cuts.
Yeah. Mr. Jewett, a question for you. I feel like as a board, we've come to know what to expect from education committees over the last couple of years because it's been pretty stable, but with the new Senate president, there's going to be a new Senate education chairman, Senator Yee. Any ideas on her agenda or, because I feel like, I don't know, I just don't know what to expect. Not crazy, good, bad, or otherwise, just do you have any sense of what her agenda might be?
I don't. Education is not an area I've seen her be, it hasn't been the area where she's been kind of the leader. Of course, she hasn't been chair of the Education Committee previously, but Senator Crandall, I think, felt that was, after he won his primary, it was pretty well thought that Steve Pierce would be the president again, and he was supporting him, and he'd be education chair again. So I do not know. Certainly Senator Crandall, who she's replacing, had history as a governing board member in Mesa, and having worked as a contractor at a company that works with school districts.
ASBA did send out an email about the new committee chair people and said that they did have a good relationship with Yee. What that will mean, I think we'll have more insight as we continue to get updates from them.
So here's just another question. I feel like I've been following who's the new leaders, who are the committee leaders, but does that mean, what does the composition look like? Does Senator Crandall stay on the Education Committee? Like, do they shuffle different members around?
I have not seen, and I've just been back in town about less than 48 hours, but I have not seen the actual committee lists yet of who's on what committee, and I don't know that that's been produced. I think at this point we may just have chairs.
Okay.
I think there are committee members, and I can forward that on to you.
That'd be great. Thank you. Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah, I have nothing more.
Anything positive to share, Mr. Jewett? Thanks for that.
There are no more TV ads on telling us about who's more evil.
Okay. Mrs. Arenas, anything to add to the legislative/political report?
Looking forward to going to DC in January and representing our board and all the school boards in Arizona and lobbying our new delegation.
Yeah. So having participated 2 years ago, just wanted to say get a leg up on your homework because it's a lot, and like your big thing there is telling the Creighton story, and I'm sure Dr. Boyle can help provide some info for me or
IWS
Suzanne.
as well.
I'm excited. Great.
Great. Our next item for discussion is future agenda items.
I have one, dancing classrooms. There's a teacher in, I think at Creighton Elementary that has participated in the dancing classroom in a different state. And she wants to bring it to Creighton. So I thought she could come and make a presentation to the board and we can learn more about what the program entails.
And I'd like to add something to the first meeting in January, and that would be to supplement the process, the appointment process. I know we're going to get some direction from Dr. Covey's office on the minimum requirements he expects from the school district. I'd like to review that as a board in January, see if there's anything we'd like to add to it. I think we just can't take away. So I'd like to have that reserved for January the 8th meeting. Any other items? Yes.
We do need to put on the agenda for December 4th, adoption of the teacher principal evaluation system for 2013-14.
What date?
The December 4th.
Yep. Terrific. Matt's favorite motion?
So moved. I move we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved, meeting adjourned.